Welcome to Driven, the Unscripted Success podcast, with your hosts, Mike Manino and Nariman Hamden, bringing you insights and stories on achieving personal, professional, and financial success.
Hey guys, I'm Nariman Hamden, and this is Driven, Unscripted Success podcast. We have another awesome guest on today. We have Terry Zellen. Terry Zellen is the CEO of Zellen Communication. He has over 35 years of marketing expertise across diverse industries, leads as a president and creative director at Zellen Communications, aka CEO. He's based in Tampa, Florida, and he manages a team of strategic professionals and teaches them to think differently, ensuring the highest level of quality for their creative and marketing efforts for their clients. Hey, Terry, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, I appreciate you taking the time to come on. So why don't you start off by telling us about what you do and what your business does?
Yeah, thank you. So Zellen Communications has been around, as you said, for a number of years, and we are a full service agency, if you will. We pretty much specialize in custom websites that are very unique and different, not the traditional websites that you would think of, more of a engagement, highly animated, and all custom designed and custom coded. So that's really our niche. But we do a full suite of online marketing, so SEO, pay-per-click, retargeting, social media, and so forth. And so we help our clients really kind of help define their brand, enhance their sales, and just improve their overall visibility through online marketing and traditional still marketing efforts. And what we do is kind of an all-encompassing approach to find out what works best for our clientele, because every market's different, every type of industry and client are different.
Sure. So when you think back, are there any moments that you'd say really changed the game for your career?
Yeah, well, I came out of school at the University of Tampa with a marine biology degree.
Oh, wow. Completely the opposite.
Yeah, completely the opposite. Actually, my brother and sister went to school for marketing at Arizona State, and then neither one of them are in the industry, so somehow I fell here. But nobody would hire me, and I went back to somebody I interviewed with, and she said, I just said, I'll work for free. Just need get my foot in the door, and spent a few months with her, and she said, you have the ability to design and so forth. So she got me connected, and that was, getting that first job under my belt, and I actually started getting paid after that.
Oh,
and just worked for agencies over the years. I really just wasn't cut for corporate life. I've just always not been good at that. So I went off, left large agency. I worked on Continental Airlines for about 2.5 years, was my main account. And then I went off and started designing and building furniture. And then kind of got the itch to go back to doing advertising and marketing. So I went back and started working on my own after that. And it's been that way ever since.
That's awesome. So it's fair to say you're very creative.
So I hope so.
Yeah. So how do you deal with taking risks? Is there a time when rolling the dice really worked out for you?
Yeah, we've always been early adopters of technology. So my first really good job in the advertising realm, I saw, this is how old I am, but the Macintosh computer was coming out into the marketplace, and I knew that was just going to be the future. So there were only 3 shops in Tampa that had them, and I managed to get into one of the 3 shops and self-taught the computer, because there were no courses, there was no nothing.
Sure.
And really learned the computer. Actually, by the time I left there, I had run a network through the walls with telephone wire, and we were doing our own film directly from the computers. So we really kind of lit up what was possible. And I just have always kind of been a little bit techie bent. So then we adopted websites. A lot of other art directors and agencies were just afraid to stick their toe in the water. We jumped in immediately, and it was prior to any, content management systems. We were just doing HTML pure code. And then, now with AI, we've been doing AI for over 2 years now, about 2.5, and really have embraced this. And this is really the future. Everybody needs to get on board now or be left significantly behind.
Yeah, I've spoken to several guests that have brought up AI, and I love AI. So I'm also I'm a licensed real estate agent here, and my business partner and I work with syndication. So we raise
Okay.
capital and bring our investors and partners in. And I mean, Chat GPT has been my best friend. I mean, when
Yeah.
I'm researching properties or owners or this and that, I mean, I go straight to Chat GPT. I've learned how to ask the right questions, the follow-up questions, and it has reduced my research time from hours to minutes.
Yeah.
So
It's exactly right.
I mean, it's fascinating,
Yeah,
and
and there's so many uses that we utilize it at the agency for everything from doing research on competitive clientele for our clients. It helps us with keyword research for SEO. It helps
mhm,
us. I use Midjourney constantly to help generate new images or pitch decks with content that we would normally have to hire a photographer for, and then we'd have to go get talent and everything else where we can generate those to show the client how it's going to look and really kind of put ourselves in a position where we've something that's very formally presented using all AI. And we use it
that's
for some of our
fantastic.
clients too, as they've become more accepting of it.
Right. And it sounds crazy and intimidating at first, like, oh, they're going to take over the world, they're going to lose human jobs. It's like, no, actually, if you embrace it and jump on the train now, you're only going to help your business. You're going to grow your business. You're going to be that much more efficient. It's not about it taking over jobs. It's just makes your job, it gives you more time to do
Yeah.
other things and focus on other things and know your client better.
Yeah, and
So
it's the exact way to look at it. I look at it, my team, everybody on the team uses it literally all the time, from video editing with AI to help us do
mhm,
cuts and so forth. But um, it gives you back your time to do what you really want to do, the more challenging things, and it takes the repetitive, mundane things off, like research. Um,
right.
and gives you back a lot of your time in the day. And a lot of companies are saying, well, boy, I get to cut a bunch of people. We really look at, like, wow, we're really enhancing our people and giving them the
Right.
opportunity to be much more effective and more efficient using AI.
Absolutely. So everyone excuse me. So everyone hits a bump in the road every now and then. Can you share a time that things didn't pan out and how you got through it?
Yeah, I think 2008 was one of our interesting times. That was, if you were in the real estate industry, the sky was falling. And
Absolutely.
we did a lot in the builder industry and development industry at the time. And fortunately, we had done a lot of restaurant work. We had Outback Steakhouse during that time. So we managed to work with Outback for about 10 years. We did pretty much everything but their television and radio at the time. Designed their menus, did their website twice. We did all of their fulfillment on projects, and it's a great client to have. But that was a really tough time because you had to play what we called small ball. We were doing websites for less money than we would normally do, but we just had to get through that time slot. And really, going into that time frame, we were probably 85 to 90% traditional advertising, which was print ads, newspaper, magazine, direct mail, and postcards. But at that time, everybody was willing to put funding into the internet, but they weren't willing to do traditional marketing anymore. So we flipped after that whole downturn, and now we're still at probably 90% online and 10 to 15%
Mhm.
traditional.
That's great. So what's a skill or habit you think doesn't get enough credit for contributing to your success?
It could be stupid persistency, but just being persistent. I think you have to be willing to learn and take chances on yourself, because when we look at something new like artificial intelligence, we knew we had to adopt it early. We just said, look, what's the worst that can happen? We can learn something about it and learn
Right.
to utilize it. And what a lot of people are afraid of, it's going to take their job, but in reality, somebody who knows AI is going to take your job, not AI by itself. AI is a tool. It's nothing more than a tool. It doesn't think for
Right.
itself. It doesn't do anything. It takes the person who learns, like you said, how to ask the right questions and then ask more questions, because Chat GPT and all of the LLMs have been trained to give you answers, whether it knows them or not.
Right.
It's trained to do that. So when you find that it's like, wait, this doesn't look right, are you sure? And if you keep probing, you'll find out, well, it's like a kid sometimes. So you have to do your due
Yes.
diligence and make sure that it's actually producing the answers that you're after, or you may have, egg on your face because you didn't.
Right, right. You'll just have a generalization of what you were trying to find or the answer that you were looking for. So
Yeah.
you definitely have to hone it in. And what's neat about it is AI gets to know you and how you
It
think,
does. Yep.
so it helps in that way, which I think is pretty cool. So there's times I've gone there and it's getting better with, our relationship with its answers and my questions, where now it's like getting even faster because it knows exactly how I think and what I'm going to ask next,
Yeah.
which is kind of cool.
It's nice to get compliments from it too. It's like, boy, that's a really great a really great
Yeah.
question. And you're like, oh yeah,
You're like,
like
yeah,
I thought of
damn,
that. Right.
I'm good.
Exactly.
I'm great.
Yeah,
It's
no
so
doubt.
funny.
But I also I've been on the Forbes Marketing Council, going on my second year. So I like to write. I enjoy writing too. Although I'm a designer by trade, I do like to write, and I've always written. So it's another thing that I like to do. I've recently got a number of submissions accepted by them as a part of an article, part of the team that writes their articles, and it's fun for me to do that, and it also helps give us a little bit more visibility online, is showing us our expertise and knowledge in both marketing and AI.
Absolutely. That's pretty sweet. So obviously staying on top of any field is tough. What's something exciting you see on the horizon in your industry, and how are you getting ready for it?
I think you're going to see a convergence of technologies now that AI is really coming to the forefront. With CGI and AR and VR coming at us all together at the same time, I think those who learn how to take those different aspects and put them together is really exciting. So we've been exploring more into augmented reality, virtual reality, and then how can we integrate that with artificial intelligence to create something that you couldn't do before. We're looking at replacing SaaS, which is software as a solution, with artificial intelligence as a solution. But AISS is probably not the best acronym. But it's the ideas there is to create an alternative way, because software is dumb. You create, let's say, a chat bot. It only answers the questions that you fed into it. It doesn't learn over time. Whereas an AI chatbot can actually learn and be more productive and actually offer better service. So it's a working tool. And then with AI agents and agentic AI coming to the forefront, that's going to change everything as like a personal assistant, research for you and actually do tasks. So those things are all kind of out there, and they're coming at us very quickly.
It is pretty exciting.
It is.
That's really exciting. So leading a team has its challenges. What's your leadership style? And can you give us an example of how it helped you out in a tough spot?
It's hard to be friends with your employees, because when it comes time to reprimand, it's like children, but mom or dad, we're close. So, you have to kind of keep that a bit of an arm's length, but having worked in the world of business over the years within companies, I didn't like that I was, always under the thumb of the, management. So I try and give my team as much free rein as possible. And, in 2019 with COVID, we had an office, we shut that down, and everybody just works from home. If you're not mature enough to do your job, then you probably shouldn't be here. And I built a small core team. We now have a few people down in Peru. We have a couple of people we work with in India, and some guys that we're working, learning about agentic AI in Turkey. So the world is your oyster anymore. I mean, there's just no limit to where or who you can work with, it's really fun. I mean, I have a phone call in the morning with somebody in Europe, and then I'll have, a conversation with one of the team members in Peru. It's exciting because you're dealing with people with different philosophies and different ideas, and it all comes together to build new ways of thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what my business partner and we have our full production team, and then our other business side. It's all virtual assistants, and they're in the Philippines or in India. I mean, it's where they're all over the world, and It's all through Slack and Zooms, and it's just where everything's heading. And there's just
true.
no need to have, in our business anyways, no need to have like a shop per se, and everybody checks in at this hour and checks out at this hour. It's like, no, we're all adults here. And like you said, you can't work from home or manage your time, then you're in the wrong business.
Exactly. Right.
So, but it is pretty freeing, to say the least.
Yeah.
It's just,
I beg your pardon.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I just try and be very, I don't want to be all too formal. I just want it to be, my door's always open. If you have an issue or you have a question, I should be very approachable. And the buck stops with me. If my team makes a mistake, I learned early on, I had a very good boss when I was younger, and I made a very big mistake on a web print job, which once a web press is up and running, that goes through a lot of paper in a very short time. And he said, you know what? You have to explain it to the client what went wrong, but I'll pay for the cost because I trusted you to do the job. So that always stayed with me, and I felt like that's, I always fall on the sword for my team because I trusted them with the process, and it was my decision to do that. So I try and stand by that. And the other thing we do is the one page that gets the most comments on our website is everyone has an About Us page. We have a Not About Us page. So it's not about us. It's really about the partnerships and the relationships we build. And that's really our belief as a firm. With no contracts. If you don't like us, you should walk away. I just feel that you should have the ability to work with us because you're satisfied, not because you're beholden to a contract.
Absolutely. I like that. Where do I sign up?
Yeah.
You make it so easy. So when you're building your dream team, what's the one trait that you always look for, and why?
I look for people who are self-taught. I found that people who have been, oftentimes they've been highly trained in a specific task, whether they're a social media expert or they're a pay-per-click or SEO. I try and hire people who are really interested in learning. They may not know too much, but they have a yearning to learn a lot more. Mm-hmm. And I find those people are much more engaged because they want to expand their knowledge rather than coming in and saying, I know all of this, let me just do my job. That's, I don't know. I just find that they're more engaged when they are given freedom to learn a lot more.
Sure. And then they're a lot more coachable because they're interested.
Exactly. Right.
As opposed to know-it-alls and sticklers of, well, this is what, paragraph blah, blah, blah just said. And we're not robots, we're humans. So, you got to be able to adapt.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. So how do you encourage your team to think outside the box and bring new ideas to the table?
Well, a lot of times it's screaming and crying, but I just say that we're always looking forward. There's never any stopping. Like I have a programmer, he's been with me over 15 years. The first year he worked for us from Venezuela, then he moved up to Tampa, and now he lives in Miami. He's an exceptional programmer, but he was kind of like, I'm like, we've got to embrace AI. We got to embrace AI. Websites are going to go away in a few years, and we have to shift gears to becoming more of a software, more of a solutions focused agency as opposed to a traditional marketing firm. So he finally spoke to a brother-in-law, and they were like, yeah, you got to get on board with this. So all of a sudden he came back. It's like you've told your kid 12 times to do something, and then somebody else tells them that's what you should do. And they're like, hey, why aren't we doing this? But
and you're like, I don't know, because I've been talking about it for the last 12 years.
Yeah, right, exactly. But I think it's just they all come in, and I just am always saying, check this out, look at this. I'm on LinkedIn first thing in the morning and last thing at night, and I follow probably 200 plus people who are in the AI world, from fashion designers to people who are pushing the limits on workflows and CGI stuff. It just, that fascinates me. So I'm kind of getting a really broad spectrum understanding of what's the potential of this with AI. So I see something really interesting, I pass that on to the team, and then we do get together once a week in the morning, and we talk about things that we found or how we might be able to make. This is a great solution for this particular client. I came across this, and so I think it's once they kind of get in the groove of it, it just becomes natural to them to look for new things and ways of doing things.
Right. It's just you're looking for new tools,
Yep. Yeah,
that are
exactly.
AI based, and it makes it fun to even like research these tools because of all the different capabilities
Yeah.
in different areas that they can help out.
Yeah.
And I mean, what they can do, I mean, creatively, like I'm very creative, and it's just mind blowing. I mean, the level of different AI apps, and I mean, making photos move that are still
Yeah.
pictures, and it's just pretty cool. It's so
Yeah.
I get the way your brain works. It's
Yeah.
fun.
And Midjourney just came out with their video, which I haven't even had a chance to play with. It just came out last week, but the tests I've seen from a number of the people I follow is it's up there with Veo and Kling and some of the others. And the fact that you can be in one place, create your still, and then animate your still makes it's a big time savings. You've already
Yeah.
got your consistency for the character and so forth. So it's really become, I think you're going to see more and more of that
Mhm.
aggregation of tools in one place. So you're not jumping around from place to place to either
Right.
merge the image or do this with the content. And
Yeah, where they're putting it all in one hub,
exactly. Yep.
having to run through 5 different apps and trying to
Exactly.
download and convert and connect. And so wow, that's
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
impressive. So, what's a day in your life look like, and how do you juggle work and everything else?
You know, well, this morning I was up on a roof. We got flooded from Helene, so
Oh, geez.
my wife and I have had to rebuild our house. We brought in obviously help, but one of the things I love to do is build. So a lot of times in the morning or in the evening, I will go and do some project that still needs to get done on the house, and
Sure.
then I usually write in the evenings. Sometimes for research I'm doing on potential tools for ourselves or for Forbes, and during the day it's kind of all over the map. Last week I was down in the Keys with a client. We were filming a new fishing lure, and then this morning I met with the client, and we'll be going to a big show in Orlando to present some new products I'm helping them develop, which is a really exciting thing. And a lot of agencies we do real estate or we do hospitality. We've always been kind of all over the map, and a lot of people say that's the wrong way to go about it. But the team is so much more excited because how many different ways can you say this is the most wonderful house to live in?
Right.
So it keeps it interesting for the team to always be, never my team will even say when somebody new comes on board, just get ready because no 2 days are the same. It's always something's always different.
Yeah, yeah, it's different, different companies, different products, different concepts. So
Yeah.
it keeps you guys on your toes and keeps those creative juices going. I mean, I can only imagine your Zoom collaboration meetings and bouncing all those ideas, just masterminding, this and that, and coming up with just something really neat for each client. So that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
So how do you tackle learning new things, and especially stuff that's way outside of your comfort zone?
I think, like AI was a big step for us. We started exploring it as it was just coming out. SEO is and it isn't a commodity. There are a lot of people who claim they do SEO and a lot of people who do it horribly. And there's multiple facets to SEO, but we wanted to see how AI could help us with SEO because you have to be lean so that you're competitive with your pricing, but you have to produce results or nobody will hire you. So
Sure.
we looked at ways to use AI to help us with keyword research, subject matter, topics, for blogs. We do utilize it often for blogs because it'll help give us the base content that we're trying to achieve, but then we humanize it with a writer.
Sure.
And we use it to do the analytics. And actually, you use it to pull our reporting together. So we can pull Google Analytics in with Ahrefs or whatever other tools that we're using to create a report that has the key, the KPIs our clients need to see, but not so much fluff that they just glaze over and can't even understand what we're trying to present them.
Sure.
So I think it's really just taking the time, investing the time in learning the new tool. If it's worth it, then the time is worth investing.
Sure. Um, So, has there been a book, a person, or a podcast that's really changed changed your outlook or approach?
Somebody that's kind of is not just on my radar, but I've been taking. I signed up for a small course that he has. It's a gentleman named Neil Ford, Foard, and he's a storyteller. He's an agency guy, or was, and I've always been fascinated by his storytelling capabilities. It's a very soft sell approach, but it's also one of the most. It's inherent in the human history that storytelling has always been a part of who we are as humans, and it creates a relatability factor to anything that you're trying to present to a client. So I'm actually taking his course right now and really see the value in that ability. It's not an easy trait. In fact, it's much harder than writing because it's creating a small movie, if you will, and trying to create a pitch or a rationale for why a client should do this or that makes common sense without saying, here's what we want to do, here's the cost, what do you think?
Right. Got it.
Much more receptive presentation.
Okay.
So I find that fascinating.
Yeah, that is pretty interesting. What's the gentleman's name again?
Neil Ford, Nealfoard.
I'm going to look him up. That sounds really interesting.
Yeah, he's on LinkedIn all the time. His called Storyfire is the name of his group, but he teaches storytelling.
Okay. There was a Storyfire. There was another similar another guy I found who does it sounds like the similar storytelling that you just shared. I think he is I think he's called AI Mastery. Okay. And I've watched a couple of his little videos that he created. I'll have to look it up after and I'll share it with you, but it was
that'd be great.
Just pretty amazing. I mean, just told the story with this child and this tree and them growing, or no, it was AI and the child growing up and growing old together. It's really interesting. Yeah, I'll share it with you after. I'll have to look it up.
That'd be great.
Really interesting. But so it sounds like things are going really well for you and your business. As you're looking towards the future, I'm wondering if or how you create passive income, or if you have.
We actually developed a product because of all the work we do in real estate. We've worked with the Builders Association here in our area, and I worked on the Florida-wide Home Builders Association, and just found that there was a niche missing there for realtors. When they're done selling, homes during what was it, probably 2019, 2020, there was no homes to be had here. Less than a month's worth of inventory. So what is a realtor to do? They need to go find new home sales. You got to wait till it closes to get your money, but it's at least something that you can sell. And there was no aggregated site that held that. So we built it. We've got a beta out there, and we're actually now investigating a scraper using AI. So that's what my one person is working on actually at this moment. So it's to test our skills. So we're testing out a number of different AI tools to see which one. No code, although he's a coder, he can use the no code to give him the base of the tool pretty quickly and then refine it to our needs. So we're really looking to do that. But the scraper will allow us to keep our data up to date without manually having to do that all the time. We can use it to 24/7, keep it, and then inject that new information into the site through an API or a script that we write to inject it into the site and update the content. So that's something that we're trying to get back off the ground. We had tabled it for a little while, but we had invested a lot of time and research into it. So that's one side income element that we have in the making.
That sounds exciting. That'll make a change. So how would that work out with how the current market is, with having so much inventory?
Yeah, well, the pendulum swings, right? So it'll swing back the other way. But also, those people have to have a place to put their homes and list them. And Zillow is always wrong. And so a lot of them don't want to do it, and they're scraping their data. They get their data directly from MLS. The problem with MLS with small to medium sized builders is they'd have to put a person on full time to enter their homes in because MLS's data is so complex. So we built a system that's very simplified. It gives the bare bones, if you will, from what the consumer would need to know about the home, but allows the builder to put the content up very easily. So someone could add those homes to the listings very simply. And we actually built it for the Builders Association here for their Parade of Homes. They said they needed something, so we built the Parade of Homes website for them. And so we ported the code over to our site to utilize it in the same manner.
That's pretty cool. So as we're wrapping up the interview, what exciting plans or initiatives do you have for the next 6 to 12 months?
The fishing lure company is really exciting for me. They've actually engaged me for 20 hours a month to kind of help grow the business. That's exciting. But really getting this team that I have right now is probably the best team I've ever had. And really refocusing the agency to change this from a traditional marketing agency, which is going to be, I think, honestly, a thing of the past, and focusing on how we become a solutions-oriented business to help companies either streamline processes, solve problems, or envision new ways to deliver capabilities that you could have never done without the assistance of AI. And I think it's really exciting to kind of redirect a business that we've had. It's very much been static, with the exception of adding websites. This is a whole new way of looking at solutions, I think, using AI. And I think shifting that is what's got the team very excited, I should say.
Well, that's pretty exciting. And thank you for taking the time to come on today. If one wanted to connect with you, how would they get a hold of you?
Our website is zellencom.com. ZELENCOMM.com. But I'm on LinkedIn and I'm on other social medias. I only really focus on my team post for me out on the other platforms, but I really only post out on LinkedIn myself.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And if you guys want to get a hold of Terry, that's how you get a hold of him, website or LinkedIn. And thanks for tuning in. See you guys next time.
Thanks for listening to Driven, the Unscripted Success Podcast. Want to share your story? Apply to be a guest at drivensuccesspodcast.com/guest.